Good afternoon. Thanks for lunch today. Appreciate the opportunity. Some of you know me. Worked with some of you may not. Was in banking for about 16 years. Commercial lender. Worked at Regions Bank most recently. After the first of the year, I decided to make a career change, and now I'm a financial representative with Country Financial. I work with many people and businesses in the Riverbend area, helping them attain financial security. And when we say financial security, some of the things we work with from an insurance perspective for auto, home, life, disability, long-term care, which we'll talk about today, some retirement planning and investments. Like I said, today I wanted to talk about long-term care, insurance, kind of a dry subject, but an important one. And thought maybe we would get started here. I'm not sure, is everybody familiar with long-term care insurance? Who currently has long-term care insurance? Okay, got some have done some planning. Who's looked into a policy before? Looked into purchasing it, may not have made the decision yet. Let me give you a few statistics. First baby boomer started turning 65 this year. The quote-unquote older generation is projected to be twice as large in 2030 as in 2000. Between the years 2000 and 2040, the number of older adults with disabilities excuse me, will more than double from 10 million to 21 million. 42% of people aged 65 and older reported a functional limitation. Most needing long-term care are elderly, but not all. 63% needing care were over the age of 65, 37% were under 64. The lifetime probability of becoming disabled in at least 2 activities of daily living are being cognitively impaired, easy for me to say, 68% for those older than 65. The question comes, who needs long-term care? You need long-term care when you're not able to complete personal care and other daily activities on your own. Most often a result of a chronic illness or a disability, or some sort of cognitive impairment such as Alzheimer's. The question is, will you need long-term care? About 70% of the people over 65 will require some long-term care. 40% will need care in a nursing home. Long-term care just doesn't mean nursing home. It could mean at home, community care services, etc. Let's see what we've got here. Things that increase your risk are obviously age. The older you get, the more likely you'll need help. If you're living alone, if you live alone, you're more likely to need to have paid care than if you are married or single living with a partner. Your gender. Women are more likely to need long-term care over men, primarily because they do live longer. Lifestyle. Poor diet, exercise habits increase the chance that you'll need long-term care. Personal history, health and family history is another important component. How much will you need? How much care will you need? On average, someone who is 65 today will need some type of long-term care services for 3 years. Women need longer care, as we mentioned. On average, it's 3.7 years. Men is 2.2 years. Let's see. Lost my place in my notes here. If you do need long-term care services and supports, you may receive or use one or more of the following. Assistance with personal care or other activities from an unpaid caregiver, such as a friend or family member. Services in your home from a nurse, home health, home care aide, therapist, or homemaker. Services in the community, such as adult daycare services. Care in any variety of long-term care facilities. The 3 questions we are most often asked. How much does long-term care insurance cost? Are there ways to save money? What is the best age to start planning? I'll start off here with the last question first. Long-term care insurers will only issue policies to those that are in relatively good health. Since you're probably never going to be healthier than you are today, this is the right time to start thinking about it. Most people think about long-term care insurance between the ages of 52 and 64. Let's see. In terms of what long-term care insurance costs, what you pay depends upon your age and your health when you apply and how much coverage you want. Costs also vary from one insurer to another by as much as 40 to 90% per year. Discounts can make your long-term care insurance more affordable than you think. For example, there's discounts offered when two spouses apply. Some insurers will offer discounts to partners living together or a partial discount when one person is covered. Discounts can vary from one insurer to another. There's different features that are in a long-term care policy, and I wanted to touch on those a little bit. Coverages include nursing home facility care, assisted living facility, as well as home and community care benefits. Not all policies are the same. Some are specific for one of those particular types of care. Some cover all three of them. The daily benefit amounts. The average cost per day in a nursing home ranges from $150 to $200 a day. So your daily benefit amount, depending on what you want to buy in that policy, you can choose between either $50 a day up to $350 a day. Benefit period, how long do you think you're going to need this insurance for? If you're buying an individual policy, the periods of time are going to be, you can buy it for 2, 3, 4, or 5 years. We do offer an unlimited policy, Country does. We also offer a shared policy, which you could share between a husband and wife, and the coverage is at for 6, 8, or 10 years that you can share that time frame. Maximum lifetime benefit would be the daily benefit times the benefit period, unless of course you bought an individual policy that provided for unlimited coverage. Guaranteed renewability, you want to make sure that that is an option. Discounts, as we talked about before. The issue ages for a long-term care policy is between 18 and 84 years of age. Qualifying for the benefits. Your activities of daily living. If you're not able to do 2 of those, that's what would allow you to qualify to start receiving those benefits if you do purchase this insurance. Other options in there are a caregiver training benefit. Oftentimes, people that do need the care want to stay at home, would like to have a friend or a family member provide that care. But in order to receive those benefits, that person needs to be trained and licensed, and we do offer that as an option too, that you can have funds to train a friend or a family member to be able to provide that care that they need. Bed reservation benefit. Sometimes if you're utilizing the insurance and you're in a nursing home, but something happens, you got to go to the hospital. Well, you want to make sure your bed's still there. Oftentimes there's the ability to be able, for a 30-day period, have your bed saved at the nursing home as well, so you have a place to go back to. I touched earlier on the activities of daily living. You may wonder, okay, what are those activities of daily living? It would be bathing, eating, dressing, toileting, continence, and transferring. And transferring would be basically getting out of bed, getting up, getting from one place to another. There's different riders that can be added on there as well, like inflation riders. Say for instance you purchase a policy that's at $150 today. Well, in 20 years, that $150 will not go as far, and there's riders that you can put on there for inflation. Also include the monthly home and community care benefit. That's an option to put on. Return of premium on death benefit. A lot of people, insurance, like, well, if I don't use it, I just spend all that money. There's the option, if you don't use it, you pass away without using it, you can have that return of premium returned to you. Spousal benefit riders, 10-year premium payment options. If you're younger and you want to know that you have a paid-up policy, you can have it paid up, say, in 10 years or at age 65. Let's see what else. Well, purchasing a long-term care policy is like buying a pot of gold. What it does is it helps you protect your retirement, and it gives you options should you need it. Long-term care has changed a lot in the past 10 years, so if you've considered it in the past and did not purchase one then, it might make sense to look at it again. When choosing a company, here's a couple things to keep in mind. Make sure the company is solid with good ratings. Look for one that has a record of consistent premiums in terms of, if you purchase the policy and that's the premium that you pay. There's other companies that there would be multiple price increases within a year. You want to make sure that company has a consistent record of, if they issue, here's what the price is, you don't see a lot of increases down the road. For instance, Country, we have a record of not increasing the premiums. That doesn't mean it can't happen, but historically when we've issued a policy, that premium has stayed the same. Let's see what else we got here. You know, and I talked about the shared policy. Not every company offers that, but your best value often comes into play if you have a shared policy. For instance, if the premiums have been paid for 10 years, if you had the policy out for 10 years and it's a shared policy, and one person starts using the benefits, the other premium will be waived. So there's a lot to look at, a lot to think about.